you to Goulburn Valley Health for this opportunity this afternoon, which is breaking new ground for me. I'm very impressed by the AGM, not that I attend many AGMs. My daughter Emily gained her medical degree at the University of Melbourne, where I can vividly remember that day, 2006. She finished second overall in the awards ceremony. Second, she was absolutely filthy, even though she was such a competitor. But she finished second, and probably rightly so, to a little Chinese girl who obviously would have been studying, day and night. But Emily Keane was our gift to the world. She was a beautiful girl. She touched people everywhere she went, and she was loved by everyone. She was an obstetrician gynaecologist working at the Royal Women's Hospital in Melbourne. She was a brilliant doctor who was seen to be excelling, not only on the professional and technical aspects of her job, but also her ability to transfer knowledge and understanding to other young junior doctors. And it was her personality to light up a hospital or a birthing room that shone through. Emily died last year because of an acute alcohol addiction and depression because of that addiction. She was 36 years old. Naturally, this affected our family very severely. Emily was an alcoholic, and in the short space of 4 or 5 years, her life was over. She rarely touched alcohol prior to this, only at social events like the Racing Spring Carnival, Christmas Day, etc. But Emily died on the 2nd of September last year, and 25 days later after her death, Emily's mother, Kay, took her own life because of the guilt and shame that she felt as a mother. Kay blamed herself for Emily's demise, for letting her down as a mother. But nothing could be further from the truth, as they had shared an unbreakable bond as mother and daughter. Where Emily's troubles began and gained momentum and accelerated and eventually spiralled her to her death is hard to tell. I don't know the answers yet. We are and were a normal family, loving, caring, hard-working, and family is and was everything to us. Everything seemed to come easily to Emily, but also underneath that exterior, she was very tough and resilient, as doctors have to be that. She studied hard and she had a wonderful retentive memory. In her early 30s, she started drinking excessively and secretly. Soon, her drinking was virtually out of control, and she was losing control of her daily life. I began driving her to work at the Royal Women's Hospital, dropping her off and picking her up. I was very worried about her working patterns. The usual thing, long hours, double shifts, etc. At work, she was guilty of presenteeism. She would always take that extra shift. And I began to watch her from a distance at the Royal Women's Hospital parked on Flemington Road on the other side of the hospital. And I was hiding behind a tree as she would walk across to the IGA bottle shop and buy a bottle of vodka and walk back to the hospital. But Emily was seen to be coping. She didn't have a problem. She didn't want to involve family. But obviously she was hiding a lot of things inside. Things started to go desperately wrong in her life, and in the end, Emily couldn't even open her mail or do her shopping or pay her bills. And unfortunately, dying was her only way out of her existence that she could see to find peace. She suffered enormously with her illness, with shame, guilt, failure, embarrassment. All these terrible emotions from a girl who was once driven to be the brightest star. So by this time, I developed a really good close relationship with some of the senior staff and management of the Royal Women's Hospital and RANSCOG, which is the College of Obstetricians and Gynaecologists. We were working together because ultimately we want junior doctors to thrive and flourish in your profession, and I'm speaking to junior doctors here today. And that leads me to Golden Valley Health. I suppose my message to junior doctors is how easily things can go wrong. You are not bulletproof. Medical people find it hard to accept help or find help or ask for help. And that's a thing that you have to acknowledge. Only 1 in 30 doctors have their own GP. Medical people are very good at trying to outsmart other professionals in the job, like psychologists and psychiatrists. Medical people find it hard to be comfortable being vulnerable. And families such as mine need to be educated about this. So a little piece of me wants to help junior doctors, and last Friday at the Royal Women's Hospital we had the launch of our Gumboot Wellbeing Program. And it's all about, closing the gap, and that gap is about awareness and speaking up and asking for help. So I want you to have courage, junior doctors. It has taken enormous courage for you to choose this career. Constant study, retaining information, long hours, all with no guarantees. You have made enormous sacrifices and you should invest in yourselves. Talking to people is massive if you need help. So last week, as I say, at Royal Women's, we had the Gumboot Wellbeing launch. And my daughter was well known at the hospital for wearing fluoro-coloured gumboots into the birthing centre. So at the launch we had 6 different topics, and we spoke about preparing for stress, and that was led by a young AFL footballer, or a mature age AFL footballer from Essendon by the name of David Myers, and he spoke absolutely brilliantly about preparing for stress as an AFL footballer, which, as he said, is minute compared to the responsibility of doctors and junior doctors. But he was fantastic, and I thoroughly recommend him if you were to think about maybe talking to an AFL footballer, get him up here to talk to young doctors. A lot of this stuff, hasn't been talked about or thought of really previously, or maybe it's been taboo. Looking out for colleagues and looking after yourself, and sleeping tips and tricks, and eating food on the run, and clinical debriefing and relaxation techniques. So we went through all of this. And our family, on behalf of Emily, presented a wellbeing pack to every junior doctor at the hospital, which was about 60 packs that we presented, which consisted of the shopping bag, which I'll show you. There's a shopping bag to do your shopping, mainly your food. A pair of gumboots, fluoro-coloured gumboots. I've got the other one. We've got all these sizes, so hopefully they're wearing them, in the birthing centre now. They've got a cap, Emily's logo, you can see the banner over there. A cap, which is a bit of a fashion item if you like, but it also goes on your head, which symbolises to you, well, I've got to think about myself and think about my well-being. A hat and a t-shirt, which is a bit of fun, and exercise. Exercise for your well-being. And a couple of more things in here, which I hope I can find. The fridge magnet, because you go to the fridge maybe 3 or 4 times a day, where you can think about, what am I going to eat today? And some stickers that you could perhaps put on your laptop or, the car or something like that. So that's what every junior doctor got last week. And the reaction was amazing. I've been dealing with a young girl called Samara at the Royal Women's Hospital, and I've been dealing with 3 or 4 other beautiful women at the hospital. Samara is looking after welfare at the Royal Women's, and she ran herself ragged last week to prepare for the big day at the Royal Women's Hospital for the gumboot launch and the wellbeing chat. So I got home at 5 or 6 o'clock when I finished pulling my feet up. I was buggered because I put a lot of work into it as well. Samara sent me a photo about 8:30 that night. She's still in the birthing centre. She's just delivered a baby with her gumboots on. And she said, which I'm sorry I don't know much about this, but she said her whole uniform was soaking wet. And I did notice there was blood on her gumboot, but she said, my socks are still dry. So the gumboots are working very effectively. So the main benefit in all of this is we want you to thrive in your profession. We want you to love your life, love your profession. And like my beautiful daughter, you are intelligent, highly educated people with brilliant minds. You are wonderfully caring and dedicated people. Finding time is your greatest challenge, one of your greatest challenges, and you have to be aware of that as well. As a community, we place you on a pedestal, and rightfully so. As a community, as a hospital, as an institution, we need you to thrive and flourish. So from me, here's to your health and well-being.